Welcome to the Flip to Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Sean Terry. Hello again, this is Sean Terry from the Flip to Freedom podcast, and we are on episode number 85. Now, if you are joining us for the very first time, I'd like to welcome you and let you know that I put this podcast together for you to show you exactly how to escape the 9-to-5, get out of the rat race, quit your job, be done with corporate America, and live the life of freedom. Now, you're going to learn how to do this by flipping houses in your spare time, even if you have no cash, no credit, no experience, you don't know a thing about real estate. You can learn how to do this. I have 84 now different episodes out there that teach the process of how to go out and do that. Now, what is the process? Well, the process is first to go out and get your first check by flipping houses, wholesaling houses. And that's where you sign a contract with a motivated seller for a discount price. Let's say you have a property for $100,000. You turn around and get a contract on it for, say, $50,000. Now, why would a seller sell to you for $50,000? Well, it's very simple. Maybe it's a fire damage property. Maybe they inherited it. Maybe it's a probate property. Maybe they're an absentee investor and their tenant just trashed the place and they want to move out. Who knows? The bottom line is they want to get out and they want to sell now. They want to sell cash. They want to sell quick. So you would contract with them for $50,000. And then what you do is in turn, you'd market it and find a buyer for $60,000. Okay. You have now two contracts. They don't run your credit. You don't need funds. You don't have to, come up with a bunch of cash and get a loan and do all that stuff. What you do, all you got is two contracts. Now you bring them to a closing agent, title company or attorney, whatever, and you tell them to do a simultaneous close or a double escrow, or you can do an assignment where you actually sell the contract. And what's going to happen is the buyer is going to bring in 100% of the $60,000 plus closing cost, of which $10,000 goes to you and the balance goes to the seller. Now, you can do this every single month. You can do this twice a month. You could do it like me here in Phoenix. I do anywhere from 10 to 15 deals a month, every single month, doing that exact same thing. Now, what we talk about on this particular show is exactly the process of how to find the seller, how to find the buyer, how to negotiate, how to write the contract, what is a double escrow, how does an assignment work, and the entire process of finding sellers, finding buyers, and putting the whole thing together. And that's what we discuss on this show. Now, in this particular episode, we are doing our first ever, this is our audio podcast reality show called The Great Escape. Now, what we are doing are we're taking on a person, a gentleman by the name of Eric Thiele, and he is a computer consultant that is completely fed up with his job. He makes good money, but he just doesn't have any time. He's literally on call all the time. And his phone's ringing at, 3:00 in the morning. He's, and it's constant chaos in his own words is what he says. And he's just so sick of just being in that constant chaos of supporting people in their computer problems. So what we are going to do, it's called The Great Escape. We are going to coach him and teach him and tell him what to do, and he's going to report back, and we're going to follow his success through the entire process of going out and literally not doing a wholesale. He's never done a wholesale deal before. He's got a couple rental properties and is trying to do some fix and flip properties in the Austin market, but he's never done a wholesale deal before. So we are going to work with him and go through the process of going out and getting your first check, and I'm giving him assignments of what he needs to do, and then going out and doing it. So I recorded this show with him the other day, over the weekend, and now I'm recording here the intro for you. But the bottom line is it's going to be awesome. It's called The Great Escape audio podcast reality show, where you get to follow along with Eric on his quest to freedom and almost get, you can follow the entire process. I'm going to tell him what to do and how to do it, and it gets pretty intense and exciting. So you get to learn about him and what he does and everything about that. So now, before we get into the call with Eric that we did, I'd like to recognize a couple people who went into iTunes and submitted a review. They went in, they liked the podcast so much, they went in and submitted a review in iTunes. And here's the first one that came in on April 14th from Steve Oxley. And he said, I stopped listening to other REI stuff after listening to Sean. I think that's what it says. I can't read it on here, but it is that good. No fluff, no BS, lots of huge techniques. I'm excited to get back in the game. Sean is the real deal. Well, hey, thanks, Steve, for submitting that. I greatly appreciate you going in there and doing that. The next one is from Quality Bargain on April 8th, 2012. It says, Sean Terry, thank you so very much. And it says 5 stars. I read a lot about real estate investing because it is something that I want to do once I learn how. Well, when I came across and listened to Sean Terry's the Ultimate Real Estate Investing podcast, I began to understand how and have confidence that I can really invest in real estate. He makes you laugh, but helps you evaluate yourself. He connects you with and helps you to better yourself and do something about your own financial future. Sorry, it's just like my eyes just went buggy when I read this thing for some reason. To tell you the truth, I was sorry. Now my phone's ringing. I was in listening mode only and not ready to take my action till now. So thank you so very much, Sean Terry, for the pep talks, motivation, and good REI content. I am ready not just to go to work, but to work hard and work smart. And no more news for a while. Laugh out loud. So he's probably listening to the rest of my episodes there. Okay, now on April 6th. So thank you so much for sorry I butchered that review. Next one is from fathhomes.com. Fathhomes.com, and it's 5-star, and it says, top notch. Sean, I love this stuff. I did my first deal a year and a half ago and then stopped. I could barely stand the anxiety I felt every time I saw a We Buy House sign because I knew I could be out there making so much more money with less effort, and now is the time to get in. Then I came across your podcast. You helped me snap out of the funk and in anxiety. Now I'm back in for good. Can't wait to tell you my story. Be on the lookout for my email soon. I should have full freedom in a couple more months. Wow, that's awesome. Good job. So basically, listen to podcasts, you get inspired to go out and do stuff, and that's what it's all about. Now, the next one here is from All the Names Are Already Taken. Very, very funny. 5 stars, and it says, wow. Okay, it says, wow, imagine someone who actually wants to give you the secrets. Mr. Terry, thanks for listening to God. Hope to see everyone in Scottsdale at the the Extreme Freedom event. So thank you very much from All the Names Are Taken. Greatly appreciate you for submitting that review. Now, what is he or she talking about? Well, we have our first ever live event in Scottsdale, Arizona on May 18th, 19th, and 20th weekend. If you want to join us for that, I'm telling you, it's going to be ridiculous. If you want to learn more about it, I created a video on exactly what you will learn in that weekend, and go to flip2freedom.com/extreme-freedom. flip2freedom.com/extreme-freedom. Now, if you're first joining us ever and you're listening to this, go to flip2freedom.com, download my free book. It's a 129-page book on exactly how to go out and quit your job in 19 weeks or less. I think we're approaching close to 500,000 downloads for that book right now. It's the #1 ranked in Amazon right now for real estate. So definitely get that. It's a ton of great information that you can read and learn on exactly how to go out and do this. All right. So enough of the jibber jabber. Let's get into the meat and talk to Eric Thiele. the mid-50s computer consultant that is living in constant chaos and wants to escape and start living his life of freedom. Now, this is the Great Escape reality audio podcast reality show with Eric Thiele, and we're going to get into our first assignments. We're going to learn about him, what to do, and then you can follow along with us here because he's going to report back on his findings. And I'm telling you, he's put on the spot here because we get hundreds of thousands of people to listen to these podcasts here, and it's been amazing. So, all right, enough of me. Let's get back into the call here with Eric, and hope you enjoy it. Take care. All right, I am here with Eric Thiele. And he is driving right now in the car, but we have him on the show for The Great Escape, which is our reality podcast show where Eric is going to get out of the rat race, or get out of his chaos in his life right now that he does. Now, Eric, what do you do that is that puts you in this chaos? Why? What's going on?
Well, I am a contractor, a rental computer consultant. I live in Chicago, but I'm working in Austin, Texas, working for the state of Texas. And I'm working for an agency that deals with Medicare and Medicaid payments, aid to dependent children, and that sort of processing, serving upwards of 20 or 25 million citizens of the state of Texas. I and one other person on my team are the only people with the particular technology background that they need. And we're serving, like I say, upwards of 20 million citizens, 70,000 employees, and there's two of us.
Wow.
So whenever one of the hundreds of servers has a problem, disk drive fails or a program dies, or, gee, I try to log in and I can't, all those people have my phone number, and it can be pretty chaotic in any given week. I make about 2% progress on my own agenda and 98% progress on all the emergencies that pop up. And I'm carrying a pager, and I'm in my mid-50s, and I'm sick and tired of waking up at 3 in the morning with someone having yet another problem.
Yeah, I can totally relate.
I'm real excited about getting into a different line of work. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine having your job because I have a 13-year-old daughter. I've got my wife, of course, and it seems like that when there's a technical problem, the world shuts down. I've got to just stop everything I'm doing because the printer's offline, the network's down, something is going on, and they just completely panic. So I can't imagine having the amount of people and the amount of grids that you pretty much have to maintain. People calling you all the time, and your pager's probably do you have a pager, or do you just have your cell phone just ringing off the hook?
Yeah, it just goes to my cell phone, but yeah, the phone rings constantly.
Holy cow, that's crazy. Okay, so
we've got to change those phone calls from technical problems to people wanting to buy properties.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. Now, Eric, you are in your mid-50s?
Yes, I turned 55 in 2 weeks.
Sweet. Cool. So turns 55, and you commute between, Chicago and Austin?
Yeah, I spent about 3 weeks a month in Austin and 1 week a month back in Chicago.
Okay. Now, tell us about your real estate experience. What type of real estate experience do you have?
I have been a real estate broker here in Illinois, primarily servicing friends and family. But given the fact that I've been, a small smidgen of my income has come from being a realtor, and the vast majority has come from technical work. Like anybody else, I follow the money, so I've been, as I say, working often. Well, guess what? That means that I'm not doing anything as far as being a realtor back in Illinois.
Right.
But over the course of the last couple of years, I've acquired a couple of properties that I've purchased. I inherited a property here in Chicago from my parents, and over the last couple of months, I've decided the real estate market in Austin is just probably one of the best markets in the country. You put a property out there priced properly, and it sells within a week.
Wow!
It's and at a decent price, not steeply discounted like the rest of the country. So I have purchased two projects from another wholesaler in Austin, and they are fix and flip properties. The properties I have back in Chicago I'm using as buy and hold rental properties. So I have a total of 5 properties, 3 rentals, and 2 fix and flip.
Sweet. So, but you've never actually wholesaled the deal before?
I have not.
Okay.
I've been on the receiving end, not on the selling end.
On the selling end. Perfect. All right. So for guys listening, here's the scope. Here's what we're doing. We are going to, with Eric, document on the show, report back. I'm going to give him assignments, stuff to do. He's going to report back with the struggles, the successes, and the whole gamut. And what we're going to do is with him is have him escape what he's currently doing, being done with computer consulting. And what do you're saying you make about 150 a year gross there in your job there?
Yeah, about 150 gross from consulting and about 30 from the rental properties.
Right. Okay. So basically what we got to do is we got to replace that income. Okay. We got to get 1 year's worth of income in the bank. But the first thing we got to do is get a check in his hand as fast as possible. Because the first thing is we got to get a check. Once we get a check, then he's going to realize it works. He can wholesale properties, and then it just becomes scaling it from that point forward. The second thing we got to do is get 1 year's worth of income in the bank as fast as possible. So we got to get at least $150,000 of cash in the bank, so he feels comfortable that he can go out and be done, escape his other job that his phone's ringing off the hook, keeping him up at 3:00 in the morning for a chaotic issue of a server breaking down or something. So and then after that, it becomes now scaling it to even further levels beyond that. So what we're doing on this show is you guys are going to be able to, the hundreds of thousands of people listening to this podcast, get to kind of chime in and follow along and listen to Eric's progress along the way, the challenges, everything he that happens, and report back. And I'm going to give him assignments along the way and watch his success unfold. All right. So now, first thing we got to do is we've got to analyze his market. So you want to work in Austin, or you want to do Austin, right? That's where you want to primarily do your wholesaling? Yeah,
I spend the bulk of my time in Austin. The market is a lot hotter in Austin than it is in Chicago. So that's where I'm going to concentrate my efforts. But obviously, over the course of time, I'm going to, when we get to the point of, or I get to the point of rinse and repeat, obviously I should do it in my backyard here in Chicago too.
Right. Well, the cool thing is those are both excellent markets, to be in, which is great. So you're going to do phenomenal. All right. So now, first thing we got to do, breaking into any market, right? We got to figure out exactly what buyers are buying, price points they're buying. So when we deploy marketing, which we'll be doing next week's episode, then we know what type of marketing we can deploy. And so we get the best, the biggest bang for the buck. All right. So the first thing is we want to find a realtor that can provide data for us. So do you have any realtors in? I know you're broker before, but do you have any relationship with any realtors there in Austin at all?
Well, the wholesaler that I bought my current 2 fix and flip properties from, they are operating as a wholesaler. So that's one real estate company that I can work with. And I have 3 other realtors that I've started developing a relationship with, but I haven't gotten real far. Basically, I'm interviewing realtors to list my 2 properties with, that I'm flipping.
Perfect. Okay. So first thing we want to do is assignment number one is we got to find a good realtor, someone that is, someone's maybe is not, has a full established business, but someone that's brand spanking new, that's just getting started, that has access to MLS, that you can build a long-term relationship with. So out of the one of these realtors, whether it be the wholesaler one or the other guys you're interviewing, we want to find and have them provide data for us. The first thing we're looking for is the cash transactions that have happened in the last 90 to 120 days in your county. In what's the county there again?
The county in Austin is Travis County.
Okay, so Travis County. So what we're going to do is have the realtor pull all the cash transactions that have happened in Travis County in the last 120 days. Okay, now they can deliver the information in two different formats. One is they can download it and they can provide it in an Excel document, which I like because then you can sort it by price point and you can sort it by location. Okay, and the next thing is, or they can deliver it via just like a link, and in that link, then you can kind of open it up and see a map of like a consolidation of properties. Now here in Phoenix, there are some high cash transaction areas that are all within like 2 or 3, 4 different zip codes, and the price points are $75,000 and under. So when we deploy marketing, well, I don't want to market houses that are $200,000 or $300,000 that are off, in another city. I want to market exactly what the buyers are buying. So that's the information that we want to find out. If I was going to fly to Austin, that'd be the first thing I'd do is I get with a realtor and I'd find someone that could provide that data. That would give me a good intel of what the buyers are buying. Okay, so first assignment number one is to find that realtor and have them deliver that data, because what we're going to do is analyze that data next week, kind of figure out what's going on, and then we can deploy marketing correctly. Okay, now number two is we want to actually go start talking to buyers, right? And the best place to find buyers that are prototypical buyer is at the county auctions. Now, what happens is during a foreclosure process, the banks to if someone's not paying on their mortgage and it goes into foreclosure, they'll take it to an auction process and they'll auction off to the public. Now, typically, what happens is that the buyer has to come in with a cashier's check, and they have to close within 24 hours. And typically, they buy the property either by a drive-by or sight unseen. Now, that's the perfect buyer, because what we're doing is we're going to sell our properties that we get to these buyers that will, will close quickly. Now, what's great about it is you're gonna, you'll get, these guys will close in 7 days, or they could close in 2 or 3 days. I've had properties where I literally got in contract on a Friday and sold it over the weekend and closed by a Wednesday, which is phenomenal. So, do you have any idea where the foreclosure auctions take place in your county, Travis County?
I'm embarrassed to admit, no. I know where the courthouse is, but I'm not aware of what the schedule is of foreclosure auctions.
Okay, and don't be embarrassed, please, because I didn't know either. So, that's not a typical thing that people go, oh yeah, it's at 12 o'clock at so and so courthouse. It doesn't happen. It could happen at an attorney's office, or it could happen down at the courthouse. So, most people probably listening, they're just getting started, don't know that information off the top of their heads. So anyways, assignment number 2 is we want to go locate and find out exactly when the auctions are happening, where they're happening, and we want to go attend one of the auctions, right? And we're going to network with buyers, right? Now, what happens is there's usually, now here in Phoenix, there's like everyone's just standing around, okay? They're all just standing around, they're talking, they're waiting for their property to come up so they can bid on it, but everyone's just kind of talking about the market and what's happening. So what we want to do is build a relationship, start talking to these buyers, and what we're looking for is finding out what they're buying, what price point they're buying, what's their perfect property, maybe what's the last property they bought, right? And find out if they're a fix and flipper or a buy and holder. And what's great about it is you can position yourself as not as a competitor that's going to bid against them. You can position yourself and say, listen, I'm looking for good buyers. I'm looking for someone that can close quick, that can close cash, and what I'm going to provide is properties that are off market. These properties are going to be, below market. I typically market to find sellers either through internet marketing or direct mail, and I'm looking for good buyers I can tee these properties up with, and it can close on a regular close, a typical 7-day close. So we want to start networking with those people, and those people, they'll tell us exactly what they're looking for, and then I have an iPhone, so I just keep their buyer information in their iPhone, and then when we go out and market, we can tee up that specific property to them. And if they're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath with $5,000 or $7,000 worth of work or whatever, then guess what? When you get that property, you can give them a phone call and say, hey, listen, I got a deal, I got a smoking deal, and before I put it out to everybody else and their brother, I'm going to give you an option to look at it. You got 48 hours. Here's the address. Here's the information. Let me know what you think. And that's a great way to build a relationship with buyers. Now, people's perception now, Eric, how many buyers do you have right now starting out?
Starting out, I've got a mailing list of about 15.
Okay, so he's basically starting from scratch, right? He's got 15 buyers. Now, there's a misconception that you have to have tons of buyers. That's not the truth. I probably sell 90% of my properties to about 10 people, okay, that buy consistently from me, and they have an appetite. I like doing business with them. I know where they need to be. I know the properties they like, and I know the decisions and stuff, and they're great to work with. I play golf with them. They're fun. They're friends, right? And we're helping each other build each other's business. So you don't have to have a ton of buyers. You just have to have the right buyers that have an appetite. Okay, so that's perfect. Now, so assignment 1 is to talk to the realtor. Now, when you have that realtor, incredibly important, the realtor, they must have an NAID registered. They must be an NAID registered broker. So do you know if any of these guys are NAID registered? Or you probably haven't asked that question.
I do not know. I know what NAID registered means. I have not checked to see if these folks are the folks that I'm talking to are NAID.
Okay, perfect. So part of the criteria with that realtor is hoping that they have an NAID. I guess it's got a designation. And what that means is that then they can bid on HUD home properties for you. Okay, so that's going to be another avenue that we're going to do, other than deploying marketing, where he's also going to be bidding on properties as well. With my guidance. So anyways, so now, so we got the broker, we've got the courthouse. The third thing we want to do, right, is we want to find an escrow company, a title company, a closing agent that can close these transactions. Now, the best way to find a closing agent is to attend a RIA group, which is like real estate investment clubs. Now, do you have any clubs there?
Yes, I do. There's a large club in Austin and in a neighboring town called Round Rock, Austin, another active community of investors. So I plan on attending both their meetings in the coming months.
Okay, perfect. So what he's going to do is he's going to find out when those meetings are. He's going to attend the meetings, and he's going to do a couple different things. Number one, he's going to get a referral for closing agents, because those meetings are investor driven. They're all it's for investors by investors. So they these investors will have good closing agents that they can refer, and maybe the wholesaler agent that he has that wholesale the property, maybe he has a good referral that he can provide. So what he wants to do initially on this first initial assignment is just get a couple names of closing agents, and then on next week's episode, when we kind of dive in, on marketing and analyzing data, we're going to give him specifically what he's looking for in that title person. Okay. The next thing is at the meetings, we want to find out who all the other wholesalers are. Okay. And we're doing this because we're trying to figure out what the competition is selling their properties at. If we're going to open a burger joint, right, and there's a McDonald's and there's a Burger King on the corner, well, we don't want to have, a burgers that we price, twice as much, right? Because, unless it's a super awesome burger, right? But we want to have something it's in line with the competition, but provide an extra value in some way. So the way we can do that is get on everybody else's mailing list, all the other wholesalers' mailing list, and you'll see what price point. Are they doing it as 70% of ARV after repair value at 70% less repairs? Are they doing it at 85% of ARV? Or are they using assessed value minus something? Every state kind of does it different, but it'll gauge to kind of see what everybody else is doing, and also so you can see what other properties they have for potential co-wholesaling opportunities. So that's that. Wholesalers. Also, we want to network with fix and flip guys, and also buy and hold guys, obviously, because they could be potential buyers to build your buyers list. And what you're looking for are those people that can act quick, that can pay cash and close quickly. All right. So now we've got the realtor. Right? We got to make sure NAID registered. We've got the going to the RIA meetings, and we got going to the auctions. Now, you guys understand, Eric is, he runs a full-time gig. I mean, he's full-time. He's on call 24/7. With his computer consulting business that he has, he has a list of everything he wants to accomplish, and for his day, he was telling me earlier that he can't even get to that stuff because it's total chaos because everything he's got. So when it comes to time, Eric, how do you see yourself fitting in, being able to do this?
Well, Sean, this is the top priority in my life is to get out of this chaotic consulting situation that I'm in. So the only obstacle is myself and how much time I invest in. I plan on investing every spare moment of time. If I'm not working on the consulting gig, then I'm going to be working on developing a wholesaling business.